This time I called the client. Normally I do things in an email, but because he had been so evasive and I felt incomplete on purpose with his details when we talked, I kind of wanted some answers. More than happy to help people. I expect not to be lied to, though, and I felt like I'd been misled from the get-go with this guy. So I get him on the phone and I explain, we didn't really find anything at your house. There were a couple of random dead people. You want to tell me a little bit more about the money that you lost? He talked a little bit about how, it was just a bad hand. I was in Vegas and then there was some sports betting. We're talking like $5,000. And he had told me that it disappeared. Very different story than I lost it gambling. I asked him about work and how he said that he hadn't gotten that promotion. There was another story about how his boss suddenly didn't like him and women weren't dating him and he couldn't meet people and friends were ghosting him and he's suicidal, and it just ramped up and ramped up and ramped up, and it was always everybody else's fault without any personal responsibility for maybe why things had gone sideways. He kept referring back to this man that he had met and that he was convinced it had something to do with him. So I told him, all right, well, let's look at this from a different perspective. Still willing to help the guy, right? I said, if you believe that your connection to him is what's creating all of this dysfunction in your life, you need to figure out how to cut him out of your life. We can do a cord cutting, but unless you're willing to literally cut him out of your life, all the cord cuttings in the world aren't going to make a bit of difference. Yeah, no, I don't think I can do that. He's too good a friend. I said, even though you said that you feel suicidal because of this, you've literally said that your relationship with him and your connection you feel like is killing you, you're not willing to do that. Well, I can try. And I said, no, you have to commit to being able to do it, or I can't commit to the work, because I can go expend this energy. My guide can expend his energy. And if you're not willing to do your part to carry that work forward after we do this initial part, we've wasted all of our time and all of our energy to do this. So this is a partnership. When I'm working with someone, I'm only helping you get to a healthy baseline where you then can make that change to carry it forward. That's all we're doing. We're disconnecting, we're removing bad things so that you can move forward in a healthy way. He said he'd be willing to try. I did not have high hopes, but we'd already cleared it the night before. I walked him through how to do a cord cutting. I did it for him, and then he was to do one on his own with the express intention that he was going to not have anything to do with this man that he felt had brought ruin and havoc to his life. I messaged him a few days later and asked him how he was feeling. No response. He didn't pay me. About 6 months later, I get an email from him saying, it's gotten worse. If you don't help me, I'm going to kill myself. I don't see any other way through this. There's just nothing that's helping. So I send him an email and say, how did it go with cutting this man out of your life? Yeah, I'm not willing to do that. I said, okay, then my work here is done. Some people don't understand that this type of work is not magic. It doesn't magically fix all of the things that can go wrong in your life. Toxic relationships are two-way streets. People treat us the way we allow them to treat us. And if there's somebody in our life who is mistreating us, it's because we haven't been able to figure out a way to set a clear boundary and insist on better treatment. In his situation, while we are happy to help people, if the living client isn't willing to help themselves and advocate on their own behalf, it's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my energy. It's a waste of the guide's energy. It's incredibly disrespectful. There is no magic button. Boundaries. Boundaries are important.